Hello student, welcome in our 10th lecture. In the previous lecture, we have discussed the characteristics value of chromatogram. In that, we discuss the 6 characteristics value. Now, in the today's lecture, we are going to discuss the chromatographic theories. So, the content of the today's lecture is plate theory and red theory. It is very important part, plate theory and the red theory. So we start with our first, that is plate theory. This theory was given by the scientist Martin and Sung. The theory is assumed that the column is divided into a number of zones called a theoretical plates. That means when we take one column, it consists of a number of zones, and that number of zones it is called a theoretical plate. At each plate, equilibrium of solute between mobile phase and the stationary phase is assumed to take place. That means the equilibrium it is present in between stationary and the mobile phase. Means suppose we consider 40 milligrams of sample in the stationary phase and we pass the mobile phase, then what happens? The 20 milligram it is remain in the stationary phase and 20 milligram goes into the mobile phase. That means equilibrium is maintained. That's why the point is that equilibrium of solute between the mobile phase and the stationary phase. Okay. The partitioning of the solute between the phase takes place at each theoretical plate. Thus, the number of theoretical plates in the column is used as a measures of efficiency of the column to separate the component from each other. Right? The number of theoretical plates in the column is used as a measures of efficiency of the column to separate the component from each other. Okay. The number of theoretical plates can be determined by, this is the formula to calculate the number of theoretical plates. HEPT is equal to L by N. So what is that HEPT? HEPT it is nothing but the height equivalent to the theoretical plate. Instead of HEPT, in some books it is given only H. Okay. L is the length of the column or the length of the plate, and N is the number of theoretical plate. Okay. So by this formula we can find out the number of theoretical plates present in the column. Then to understand this plate theory, here we consider one consideration. I have taken a diagrammatic representation of this plate theory. In this figure, we consider on the left side stationary phase is there. This is on the left side the stationary phase is there, and on the right side the mobile phase is there. This consideration is only for the understanding. In the reality, we know that such a situation is not observed. We know that stationary phase it is present in the column and mobile phase is run over on the stationary phase. But for the understanding, we consider this part on the left side, this is, stationary phase is there, and at the right side mobile phase is there. So this representation is only for the consideration. Actually this is not there. Okay. So in the first column we see that the 6 theoretical plates are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are the 6 theoretical plates present in the column, and we take 80 milligrams of the sample in the stationary phase. Okay, and we pass a mobile phase on it. So what happened? The equilibrium is present in between the stationary and the mobile phase. That's why the 40 milligrams of sample it is present in the stationary phase, and 40 milligrams of sample it is passed into the mobile phase. Okay, and we also know that the stationary phase is stagnant. That means it is not moved, while the mobile phase it is a running phase. That's why this 40 milligrams of sample, it is goes into the next theoretical plate. Then the situation is like this. Okay, it is goes into the next theoretical plate. Again, we know that the equilibrium is present in between stationary and the mobile phase. That's why this 40 it is divided into 20 20, and this 40 it is also divided into 20 20. Okay, due to the equilibrium present in the stationary and mobile phase, this things is happen. Okay, then again stationary phase is stagnant and mobile phase is running phase. That's why this 20 it is goes into the next theoretical plate, and this 20 it is again goes into the next theoretical plate. Then the situation is like this. Okay, and again the equilibrium is present in between the stationary and mobile phase. That's why this 20 it is divided into 10 and 10. 20 remains same, and again this 20 it is divided into 10 and 10. Okay, again mobile phase is running phase. That's why this 10 it is goes into the next theoretical plate, 20 goes into the next theoretical plate, again this 10 it is goes into the next theoretical plate. So the situation is observed like this. Okay, again we know that the equilibrium is present in between stationary and the mobile phase. That's why this 10 it is divided into 5 5. Okay, and 20 plus 10 means 30. 30 divided by 2, that means 15 15. Equilibrium is present, that's why this 30 it is divided into 15 15. Okay, here also 15 15, and 10 it is divided into 5 5. Okay, then mobile phase is running phase. That's why all these plates are goes into the next theoretical plates. 5 goes here, 15 goes in upper plate, and this 15 here, and 5 also goes here. Okay, the situation is observed like this. Okay, then again the equilibrium is present, so 5 is divided into 2.5 and 2.5. This 15 plus 5, that is 20. The equilibrium is 10 10. Okay, then 15 15 same, this 20 again, 10 10, and 5 2.5 2.5. Then mobile phase is running phase, stationary phase is the stagnant phase. That's why this part it is remains same, while this mobile phase it is goes into the next theoretical plate. So the situation observed like this. After that, here there is no theoretical plate, so the sample is eluted out. Here the theoretical plates are finished, so the mobile phase it is not goes into the next part. So here the elution of the sample takes place. So we write the column like this. So in the first there is a 2.5 only. In this case 10 plus 2.5, that is 12.5. 10 plus 15, that is 25. 15 plus 10, that is 25. 10 plus 2.5, that is 12.5, and last 2.5. So this is the column in which the separation takes place like this. As the number of theoretical plate increases, the separation is better. As the number of theoretical plate increases, the better separation will occur. That's why we increase the theoretical plate here, and the elution of the sample takes place, and separation of the compound also takes place. Okay, it is clear. This is the plate theory. It is very simple. Then we start with the next theory, that is the rate theory. It was introduced by Van der Meter, scientist. Then it was described the effect of an elution band as well as its time of elution. What it described? It described the effect of an elution band as well as the time of elution. How the elution takes place, that part he was discussed in this theory. The Van Demeter equation described the relation of the height of the theoretical plate h and the average linear velocity of the mobile phase. What it describes? The relation of height of the theoretical plate, that is denoted by letter h, and the average linear velocity of the mobile phase. Okay. So here the formula, the equation is h is equal to a plus b upon mu plus c mu. So h stand for height of the theoretical plate, a stand for eddy diffusion, b stand for longitudinal diffusion, c stand for mass transfer rate, and mu is the flow rate of the mobile phase. So in this equation, all these terms are there: eddy diffusion, longitudinal diffusion, mass transfer rate. All these terms we discuss in the next slide. So what are they? That part we discuss in the next slide. So eddy diffusion, it is nothing but the term referred to the band broadening caused by the dispersion effect. That is nothing but the eddy diffusion. So the formula for that, A is equal to 2 lambda dp, where this lambda is the correction factor while dp is the average particle diameter. In this case, the space along the column are not uniform. So here the column is there, the space it is not uniform because we are placing the stationary phase in the column. So it get properly placed in the column, or sometimes it not get properly placed in the column. That's why the space along the column are not uniform. Okay. When a sample is migrate down the column, each molecule sees different path, and each path is of a different length. So here, suppose we introduce the sample. This is a column filled with this stationary phase, and we introduce the sample. That sample contains different components. So that components are sees in different paths, and each path is of different length. Here this component it is goes in straight way, while this component it is goes in this way, and this last component it is move, means that spend more time in the stationary phase and then eluted. Okay. Some molecules take a longer path and the other take a shorter path. There are also the variation in the velocity of the mobile phase within this pathway. The overall result is that some molecule lag behind the center of the zone, whereas the other move ahead of the zone. Right? The velocity of the mobile phase within this pathway are different. That's why the overall result is that some molecule lag behind the center of the zone, where the others move ahead of the zone. Means these are the spend more time, while other component they are move ahead. Okay. So this is about the eddy diffusion. Then factor influencing the eddy diffusion. First is the particle size, then particle shape, particle pore shape, quality of the column packing, wall effect. So these factors are affecting on the eddy diffusion. Particle size means suppose our compound contain two different components. One component has bigger size and the other one has a smaller size. Then what happens? That smaller size component get easily move in the stationary phase, while the larger components require some time to go through that stationary phase. That's why the particle size also affected on the eddy diffusion. Size and shape. Shape, if it is a circular, then it is very simple to move. While it is irregular, then some time is required to pass through that stationary phase. That's why particle shape also affect on the eddy diffusion. Particle pore shape and the quality of the column packing. As we discussed in the previous slide, if the packing of stationary phase is not proper, then the time required for the elution it is also increases. That's why the quality of packing also affect on the eddy diffusion. Wall effect, material roughness and the column diameter, that part included in this wall effect. Okay, so all these factors are affecting on the eddy diffusion. Then the next is the longitudinal diffusion. In that equation, B term it is stand for the longitudinal diffusion. The B term in the Van Dimter equation, also known as a longitudinal diffusion. It refers to the diffusion of individual analyte molecule in the mobile phase along the longitudinal direction of the column. What is B term refers to the diffusion of individual analyte molecule in the mobile phase along the longitudinal direction of a column. Some molecules move faster and the other will move slower relative to the average velocity, resulting in peak broadening. Sorry. Some molecules move faster and some are move slower in the stationary phase. That's why we observe the different elution rate and resulting into the peak broadening. This effect will be relatively great at long time in the column at low flow rates. As the flow rates increases, this effect will show less peak broadening. As the flow rate is increases, the less broadening of the peak is observed. Okay. Factor affecting on the longitudinal diffusions are linear velocity of the mobile phase, diffusion coefficient of analyte in a mobile phase, that is dm, and the mobile phase velocity. And also the temperature is also affected on the longitudinal diffusion and type of analyte. Okay, so these factors are affecting on the longitudinal diffusion. Next is the mass transfer rate. In that equation, C term it is stand for the mass transfer rate. The C term in the Van der Meter equation relates to the mass transfer of a sample component between the stationary phase and the mobile phase during the separation. The overall C term it is divided into two separate mass transfer terms. Cm it is nothing but the contribution to peak broadening in mobile phase. Because the linear velocity of mobile phase is lower than the stationary phase, particles this result into the peak broadening. This part we already discussed in the previous slide. Cs contribution to peak broadening in the stationary phase. So M it is stand for mobile phase and S it is stand for stationary phase, and C it is the contribution to the peak broadening. Okay. Cs term is determined by the amount of stationary phase and the extent of interaction of the sample on the phase and the distance the sample molecule have to travel. Okay, this I repeat this point. Cs term it is determined the amount of stationary phase and the extent of interaction of the sample on a phase and the distance the sample molecule have to travel. So this is about the mass transfer. So in this way we complete all the terms which are included in Van Dimter equation. So this is nothing but the rate theory. So student, in the plate theory we discussed that figure. You have to remember that figure and how the working takes place, you have to remember that part. And while in the rate theory, you have to remember the Van Duter equation and the terms which are related to that, you have to learn that terms. Okay. In the next lecture, we discuss the RS factor, means resolution factor and retardation factor. This part we will discuss in the next lecture. Thank you for watching this video.